Hey there, Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, September 11th. And we are now past the Pisces full moon. The moon is in Aries today. Good day to be proactive. And Mercury is now retrograde. So it's a perfect day to do a recap, which is a good activity for Mercury retrograde. I thought we would do a recap of where we're at with some of the astrological configurations and cycles that we're in the middle of to just remind you of where we're at and where we're headed. So in today's recap, first of all, I want to point out that we are in an Aries moon, and we are, which is about being proactive and being proactive, taking risks, moving forward, taking action. It's a good time to be proactive in your recap or your review or your redo or your renegotiation, as we talked about last week. So being proactive is what we want to do when the moon is in Aries. It's about action and movement. So trying things, being a decision maker, being decisive, and just going for it. And of course, we're doing that in the context of review and redo. So we're also past the full moon for this moon cycle. And remember that a full moon brings a culmination. It brings something to fruition. It brings illumination and reflection back of what it is we've been putting our energies into. So in these past couple of days, as we've gone through that full moon in Pisces, you may still be feeling things. You might still have things unfolding. You might be just starting to process what was revealed or illuminated to you. And this can be just in the unfolding of the events of your life. So what are the developments that have shown up for you? Could be in your thinking, could be a new set of thoughts or direction of awareness. It could also be something that shows up in your life, a new development, a new situation, a new step forward in an ongoing issue, some sort of resolution, some sort of awareness that helps you move forward. And of course, with the energy of the full moon being in Pisces, we have this connection to the big picture, to oneness. And so the last couple of days, I have given you some really good descriptions of what that full moon is about. And it's a link to a meditation to help you work with these full moon energies as well. So Pisces is about transcendence. It's about interconnectedness and the bigger picture of the divine. So something coming into your awareness that opens your heart, that connects you to a bigger picture, that helps you see your connection and your interdependency with others. It could also bring confusion, as Pisces energy tends to be so everything that it's hard to sometimes be tangible or understand what it means. And so there's a loss of the guideposts, the guardrails, the instructions, the map. There can be a sense of the fog rolling in and not knowing which way is up. So the key word for Pisces is surrender. If you have been feeling things that feel confusing or overwhelming, it's the message here is just to be, just to let it be what it is. And you will find that when you allow yourself to be with what is, that from that place, you can have the open heart and the open mind that is going to let in new clarity, new information, the resolution of old issues, and direction in terms of a new way of thinking about moving forward. So that's the Pisces new moon. And now, as we're moving past that, we have this moon in Aries, which is saying, okay, it's time to take some action on that. And so you might still be feeling those energies of the Pisces full moon, the paying attention and noticing of what is unfolding for you and how it feels, even if you don't understand it, even if it doesn't make sense just yet. There might be something that you need to do about it, a way that you need to act on it. And that is part of the process post full moon of how we move into the integration phase. And so after the full moon, as we head into the next new moon, we're digesting, we're processing, we're integrating. And so that Aries moon might be saying there's something you need to do to facilitate that. It's a decision you need to make, an action you need to take, a thing that's been on your to-do list for a long time that might feel overwhelming, but is actually quite simple to take care of and might help things move along. So ask yourself what is calling to you today that is asking for you to make a decision or take an action. And of course, I've talked in recent videos about a variety of things that are going on right now. So one is the Mercury retrograde, which we are now in. And so if you missed that video, I highly recommend. It was posted on September 4th, just 1 week ago. So go check that out for some insight into how to work with this current Mercury retrograde. It is all about renegotiating agreements, relationships, and how you engage in partnerships, and what kinds of agreements you might have made or be making consciously or unconsciously, and what it is that you need as you learn and grow and step more fully into your own joy and happiness and healing and wholeness. What does it look like that you need to renegotiate or do differently, or say, maybe I was okay with this in the past, but I'm not anymore. It doesn't work for me anymore. And so let's talk about that and how we can do this differently. And in your agreements, in your relationships of all kinds. So highly recommend that video from last week on Mercury retrograde. This particular September will be ending in October, Mercury retrograde, and what it means and how it's going to show up for us. Then also I shared with you, let's see, that this was back on August 27th. I shared with you about what to expect for this Virgo moon cycle that we are still in the middle of. We are now a little more than halfway through the Virgo moon cycle. So it began, of course, with the Virgo new moon. And on August 27th, I released a video describing what to expect for this Virgo moon cycle. And it was quite fascinating because we talked about the energy of Virgo, primal cleaning urges. We looked at how to make magic with the Virgo moon cycle and the energy of witches and wise women and healing and simple objects like brooms, and why a broom is thoroughly and completely tool of magic, and how we can use that to work with energy. And that's what this moon cycle is about. So everything that we do, every sign that the moon goes into, everything that unfolds during this particular moon cycle is going to relate back to that seed time of the Virgo new moon, and what is unfolding from a place of our intentions to go from the criticism of Virgo to, maybe some tendency to be a little nitpicky or hard on ourselves, and how to transform that into something that is truly of service, truly in a healing spirit. And so we're moving forward with that. With the Pisces full moon, that came to culmination, it came to fruition. So something is being revealed to you about how to do that process, how to take any areas where you might be a little bit hard on yourself, or feel not good enough, or feel like you haven't done enough even, and to see what is the bigger picture here, what is truly the bigger picture of what the spirit and the divine and our hearts, and really the bigger picture of who we are and where we're headed, might have something to say about why we might be hard on ourselves, and why perhaps we should let go of some of those tendencies. So instead, embracing the sacred, the urge and the healing urge to do some cleaning, some clearing, some decluttering, some attending to things that need a little maintenance, things that need some repair, things that need attention in our lives, and how giving attention to our physical, our home, our space, our environment, how that can truly serve our ability to create, our ability to feel joyful and happy, and to move forward on our healing path as we learn and grow, which that's what it's all about. So we're in that Virgo moon cycle. We are now past the Pisces full moon. We are going to begin this process of integrating and taking what we've learned and applying it, figuring out how, what does that look like in my day-to-day routines, and how can I keep that spirit going in things that, and the way that I maintain my routines, my life, my space, the things that support me. And how does that help me be of service? Those are some of the questions that we're going to be integrating and digesting as we head now toward the next new moon. So we're now in the waning phase, post full moon, heading to the new moon, doing 2 weeks now of integration. It's not just processing, it's also actively making choices about how we want to be going forward, and what we want that to look like in our day-to-day lives. So August 27th was that video about the Virgo moon cycle. You may want to go back and review that to remember how to work with the Virgo energies. And then another thing that I've talked about that's also still very important is the Mars in Gemini energy. And Mars, as I mentioned, is a planet that typically stays in a sign for about 2 months on average. It does vary, but that gives you a ballpark, and that's how long the energy of Mars has a particular sign, which brings a particular quality to the way Mars energy expresses itself. And Mars is the planet of the warrior. It's the planet of action, of movement, of activism, of decision making. And so it's where we need to be the warrior and find our warrior spirit, find our courage to take action on the things that matter to us, to do something about the things that are important to us. And so what's happening is that Mars is heading into its retrograde period, which doesn't happen nearly as often as it does with Mercury retrograde. Mars goes retrograde about every couple of years. And in this case, it's going to go retrograde in Gemini, meaning that Mars is now in Gemini. and Mars is going to stay in Gemini for longer than it typically stays in a sign. And end of October, Mars will go retrograde. It will still be in Gemini, so I'll spend time going backward in Gemini, and then it will go direct again. And overall, it's going to spend a total of 7 months in Gemini. And so we have this extra Mars in Gemini energy. And my video from August 20th that was posted then gave you a lot of good insights into what that will bring, what it will feel like. And of course, now we are in it. We're well into the Mars in Gemini period. It hasn't gone retrograde yet, but it's definitely been in Gemini. And we're now, in this area where I talked about in that video, I talked about a battle of ideologies, battle for ideas, taking a stand for the truth, taking a stand for information and facts and things that information and the way that information should be used, how we use that information, how it can be misused, and how we can reclaim our right to have facts and accurate information and work with those facts to determine the rules and the guideposts of our lives. Which is, by the way, what's happening in a bigger picture with Neptune in Pisces for many years, is that we are struggling over what is reality. And reality turns out is a whole lot more fluid than we used to think it was, and in multiple different ways. So how is this? So the way that this Mars in Gemini 7-month period is going to show up is it's asking us to ask ourselves how we think about things, and what that looks like in terms of how we share information, who has control of the narrative, who has the facts, where those facts come from, and what we can trust. And that, there's so much about this that is really about looking deeper within ourselves, asking ourselves, how do I decide what to believe and what to trust? And maybe there's something I need to look at within myself about how I receive information, and do I go and verify that fact? Do I do my own fact checking? What is it that I'm trusting in terms of information? People tend to believe what their friends, their community talks about and believes. And so who are the people you're hanging out with? Who are the people you're having conversations with? And are those conversations stimulating? Do they ask you to challenge your own thinking, or open to creative new ways of verbalizing what you think and communicating what you think? Do they just repeat over and over and over something you already think is true? Or do they actually genuinely ask you to look deeper, ask you to get more clear, ask you to say why you think that and where that comes from, and what you're doing to educate yourself to learn more? Those are all questions in the bigger picture, really, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, about beliefs and facts and truth and lies and illusions and delusions and all of that. No matter where you are, it's going to serve you to inform yourself, educate yourself, look deeper, ask deeper questions, ask yourself where you're getting your information, trying some new sources for where to get information. You might find something else out that you haven't heard before. You might learn something that takes you a little deeper, or opens your mind, or gets you to ask new questions. Those are all like some of the highest possibilities of this period of Mars in Gemini. And then, of course, Mars is the warrior. So taking action, moving decisively, taking a stand, finding your courage, finding the words. I think that's a really big one. Finding the words and trusting yourself to say them. So whether maybe in the Virgo moon cycle, it's about writing it out carefully and editing it and making sure it's just right. There might be more of that, but there's also going to be times where it just needs to flow from you, where you just need to say something because you're passionate about it. It's coming from your heart. It's true for you. It's important to you. It matters. It's something you care about. How do you feel about climate change? How do you feel about racial equality? Whatever is the women's rights and right to abortion. These are all things that are very fundamental to our lives, our way of life. And finding so anyway, in other words, sometimes you might want to it might just come from your heart, and you might just need to say it in the moment. It hasn't been thought through or figured out. It's just flowing from you. And that can be a really powerful way of speaking up and speaking your truth. Just as powerful as those moments when we need to write things out and make sure that the grammar is all correct and no typos, and that we've chosen exactly the right words. And some of that is there as well, especially during the Virgo moon cycle. As we head into the upcoming Libra moon cycle, which I'm getting a little ahead of myself because it's not till the end of September when that will begin, but we'll be heading into more of an experience of relatedness, of relations and communications and dialogue and collaboration, and what different kinds of partnerships look like. And so looking at these bigger questions of how we claim the world we want to live in. We might be looking less at Virgo, getting everything in order, and more at our relationships and the way that we work together with others. So that will be coming. So I did a recap, a good Mercury retrograde recap of some recent videos that I want you to check out if you missed those, or maybe you want to watch them again because now we're in the middle of it, and just remind yourself of what we're dealing with. And that was last week's. These are all Sunday videos that I do a little bit longer time with you. And so the Sunday videos have a little more in-depth content. Of course, the day-to-day videos are fantastic also. And they some of those are going to be just perfect for you in any given moment, just to look back and remind yourself of something that particularly resonated. But these are the longer videos. And so there was one last Sunday that came out on September 4th. That is about the Mercury retrograde and renegotiating the terms of your happiness. Really important information there. We had one on August 27th that was about making magic with the Virgo moon cycle, and that will give you more in depth on where we're at and what this moon cycle is all about. A moon cycle goes from one new moon to the next new moon. So it's about a month, and we're in the middle of the Virgo one. Okay, so that was on August 27th. And then on August 20th, there was a video about Mars in Gemini and information and working with this this energy of Mars's extended stay in Gemini and what that means. And so now we're into it. You might want to review that and remind yourself of what to expect. And then in addition to all those fantastic videos, I will just point out that I've also been posting some different videos about moon signs. And so if you don't know your moon sign, I highly encourage you to find it. Oftentimes you can, there are calculators that will tell you online. Just Google what is my moon sign and you should be able to find one of those calculators. You can certainly also get a mini reading from me. Just go to astrologyheals.com to sign up for that, and I'll give you an analysis of your moon sign. But what I'm getting at is that I have been releasing videos. I haven't released all of the moon signs yet, but you might want to go find yours, go see if yours is posted yet for your moon sign. Now, remember, this is different from your sun sign, which you probably have known most of your life. But you also have a moon sign, and the moon sign takes you deeper into your heart, into your feelings, into your needs and your inner child. So it's really, really fascinating. And so if you don't know your moon sign, go look it up online, and then check the playlists section of the Astrology Heals YouTube channel and go to playlists. There's a tab there that says playlists, and find the playlist that is about moon signs and see if your moon sign is in that playlist, or maybe the moon sign of someone you know or love is in there. So that could be very enlightening. And that will give you a quick, totally free insight into what your moon sign is about and what it means. And from my perspective of how to work with that energy for healing and getting insight into your highest potential, who you can be when you are working with your own energies in the most positive and healing way. So playlists, I wanted to bring your attention to those moon sign videos are in playlists. Of course, these daily Astro vibe videos are also in that playlist section. And there's just some awesome content. So so much that I have given you and shared with you. And even if you've been watching me every day, you might want to go back and catch something that particularly stood out to you, or that you want to listen to again to get a little more from. As you do when you listen again, you hear things differently and you hear new things. So highly recommend that. And I do thank you so much for being here with me. One final ask that I have, if you've been appreciating these videos and this content that I'm sharing with you, of course, your subscribing helps tremendously, and thank you. I also want to ask you, if this has been meaningful, helpful to you, that if you have one friend that you could share this with and let them know, hey, this video is really interesting. I learned great things from it, or found it really interesting, made me think, or whatever, to share a video with a friend and help me get the word out. I so appreciate that. And that's why I'm here. I want to spread this information and help more people see how incredible this tool of astrology is to support us in having unshakable self-care and stepping into all that we are capable of, the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment, the meaning that we can have in our lives, and of course the healing that is possible when we are in our highest potential, in our power. So thank you so much for being here. And again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Your likes and comments are wonderful. And I will be back. So see you next time. Bye for now.